right, you sit right there. Good boy. All right. What's up, guys? If your reaction to having to color your drawings is anything similar to that, you need help. And I am here to help. Please excuse my appearance. I just finished this tattoo yesterday and I'm trying not to have anything touch it. I'm sorry. Now in today's video, I'd like to teach you a little bit about how to color your art. We'll be using some of my favorite methods, working in a semi-realistic style. And just so you guys know, I have a tiny brain. It's very small, it's very smooth. So I like to break down my processes and make them as simple as possible so that absolutely anybody can follow along. Even you. Yes, you, sitting on the toilet right now, taking a dump. Don't think I can't smell you. That is disgusting. So with that being said, let's dive right in. I've even got notes for today's video. Look at that. Actually, don't look at it. It's very messy. As always, before you start any drawing, make sure you have a reference for what you want to draw. In today's case, Sam does man. First, identify the style that you want. Do you want to do flat colors? Do you want to do cell shading? Do you want something semi-realistic? Or do you want to do something hyper-realistic? In that case, I'm sorry, but you've lost your mind. And that's coming from someone who already has no sanity. So the first thing I try to do is I break it down, all right? I start from the big to the small. I want you to take a look at this beautiful man here and ask yourself, what is the main color that you see in this composition, aside from the blue sky? Well, for me, you see, the first color I would start with is the color of his skin, the skin in light, this color right here. So once you've identified your main color, go through your hues, find that color, that orangish color. Now, I know a lot of you guys might have a hard time finding the right colors, just like how you have a hard time finding grass to touch. Don't you worry, I've got a little trick for that. So you click on this icon here and bring up this eyedropper tool. I want you to take this eyedropper tool and run it over some of the areas where you see that main color. Now go and visit your color picker. Couple of things to pay attention to here. Where does this color sit on the hue spectrum, which is this slider down here? Where does it sit on the saturation spectrum, which is this slider right here? And where does that color sit on the value spectrum, which means how light or how dark that color is? So going back to the eyedropper tool with the color on the arm, we can observe that it is an orange color, medium saturation, and very light in terms of value, which makes sense because he's in sunlight. Now, when you're working, try not to use that color directly from the reference from the eyedropper tool. Try to find that color yourself. Play around with your colors, see if it looks right. This will be a great challenge and a really good learning opportunity. Just to make my life a little bit easier, I am selecting the overall shape of this character and I'm gonna just fill the whole thing in with my base color. Now, if you're wondering, where are all the shadows? Where are all the soft transitions? Patience, my son. This is step number one. Remember that we are working from big to small. So now we're gonna get a little bit smaller. We're gonna try to look for the other smaller flat colors that are here, which will be the hair, the black hair, and the white shirt. I'm gonna go with a very dark, desaturated brown color. All right, so the next step is we gotta look for the color of that shirt. I think we could go a little bit more towards the reds and bring it all the way up in brightness. Now you might be asking, is it time to start adding some shadows? And you would be wrong. It is time now to start adding some shadows. So I want you to go back and observe your reference. Try to find a general color for the shadows, one single flat color. Now, when you zoom in, you're gonna see a lot of different hues, right? You're gonna see blues, you're gonna see oranges, but don't worry about that and try to find one unifying color. So for me, I think from the light value, we should go a little bit more towards the reds. We should change this color, bring it down a little bit more, and maybe we can get something like that. Now, again, if you're not sure how to do this process, I was once upon a time in the same boat as you. Everybody has to start somewhere. So take your eyedropper tool, go back into the shadows, see if you can find that shadow color, right? Try to observe where it is on the hue spectrum, try to observe where it is on the saturation spectrum, but when you actually go to apply that color, don't use the eyedropper tool. Now, in this part of the process, once we've escaped from the flat colors, we're starting to add shadows and depth to our drawing. You want to identify where the light source is coming from. This is very important to anything that you're going to render. In this reference, he is being lit by the sunlight coming in this direction. How do I know this? Because if you look at surfaces like his shoulder, for example, the light reaches this surface and the shadow falls on this surface. So that means the light, since it travels in a straight line, is going to be coming from here, and there's going to be a fall off of light here as we venture into the shadows. So I'm going to start a new layer, create a clipping mask, and in this layer, we're going to be adding some shadows. Just use a simple hard edge brush. I'm using a round brush here, okay? Don't be afraid of contrast. Don't be afraid to push the darks and pull the lights. See, I'm just applying these very simple shapes to the areas where I see shadow. Just try to make it as simple as possible, almost like a 2D animation, right? Only one light value and one dark value. So we're taking this shadow color, bringing it down to the arm, just doing the same thing that we did on the face. And just like that, now you have a super simplified graphic man. Now you can adjust the colors here based on your personal preferences. I personally want the shadow to be a little bit brighter, maybe a little bit more saturated, just like so. Again, personal style. Now we're going to move on to the shirt and the hair. We're going to repeat the exact same process. We're going to take this hair color. I'm going to try to find an even darker, more saturated color and add that into the areas where I see more shadow. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but now the hair feels a lot more three-dimensional, and I've only followed where the shadows and lights fall on the hair. I'm not trying to create that texture of hair just yet. I'm just trying to apply the right colors to the right places. Don't overwhelm yourself, all right? Don't do too much at once. It's just like starting a new drawing. If you have one drawing going on, make sure you try to finish that drawing before you start another one. Right now I'm going to take a bluish color here, maybe a little bit lighter than that, and I will apply that into the shadow for the t-shirt. And there you go. If you've been following along with me, you should have something similar to this. And now you know how to color your drawings. For the rest of this video, check out my Patreon, and I'll see you guys on the... I'm just kidding, guys. I won't abandon you like that. I'll go to the grocery store, I'll get my milk, but I'll always come back. So this is how I like to work, all right? Now that we have 2 colors in each section, I like to start adding more colors. So 2 colors is going to turn into 4, and that 4 might turn into more. Oh my god, bars. Jesus. Call me Kendrick. Sam does rap. I want you to look at your reference. Where are the glowing highlights on this beautiful man's face? So I'm seeing a little bit right here on the cheekbone. That's pretty bright. I'm seeing a little bit here on the neck. There's certain areas here on the nose, on the mouth area that also seems a little bit brighter than the rest. Maybe a little bit of highlights on the shoulder, a little bit on the back of the arm. So we're going to take this color. All right, we're going to shift the hue a little bit more towards the yellow. Make sure you're shifting the hue according to how you see it in your reference photo, okay? Don't always go towards the yellows. In some cases, you might be going towards the blues. I'm going to start a new layer, and I'm going to apply this highlight color, this 3rd color, onto the areas where I see it in the reference. So for example, on the cheek, on parts of the nose, it's very subtle, but you might also find yourself in situations where this highlight color is a lot more apparent. A little bit on the jaw, a little bit on the chin. There you go. That's beautiful. Now we're getting so much more depth in the light section of his face. Coming down here now, let's add a streak of highlight onto his neck. Now we're going to select the shadow color, and we're going to push it just 1 stop lower. Maybe move it a little bit more towards the reds, and now we're going to bring this darker color into the areas where you see more shadow, just like so. Right now, look at that jawline. It's got so much depth. It's almost as much depth as the traumatic backstories of literally every single one of your OCs. I gotta start a petition for you guys to stop abusing your OCs, man. I'm gonna add a little bit more darkness there onto the shoulder. So now you see there's a lot of depth, right? There's depth in the light, there's depth in the dark, but it kind of looks like a paint by numbers painting right now where the edges are all very sharp. It looks very artificial. So we're going to change that. Now I want you to take a blending brush. Doesn't matter what it is, just make sure it's nice and smooth. This is my personal favorite. It's available on my Patreon, but it doesn't have to be this brush. As long as it's smooth, it works. Now we're going to soften the edges that are soft and maintain the edges that are hard. So for example, here it's soft. Here it's hard. So just very gently blend out that soft edge and preserve that hard edge, just like so. Now we can come down here to the jaw area. Again, looking at the reference, right? There's a soft edge, there's a hard edge. So we're gonna blend that out, but maintain some of the hard edges that you see on the jaw. Same thing with the neck, right? You're gonna see this hard edge here. We're not gonna blend that, but this edge is gonna be soft. Gently blending that out, gently blending this edge out, and maintaining one hard edge. That's a beautiful neck. That looks delicious. So delicious that maybe Ergo Josh would like to eat it. That's right, Josh, you filthy man. I'm gonna do the exact same thing here, right? We're gonna blend out the soft edge here on the shoulder. We're gonna blend out the edge here on the bicep. And while you have your blending brush, I want you to also soften up some of these highlights here. Just soften up the edges, blend out that edge right there. So you see they almost become invisible, but you do see that hue shift throughout the arm still. Now you might be asking, well, why do you use a hard edge and blend it out instead of using an airbrush? Well, number one, you would be wrong. Number two, the airbrush is completely soft. It's very easy for beginners, especially, to over rely on the airbrush and end up with drawings and renderings that are way too mushy. Don't rely on the airbrush, okay? preserve your hard edges. Stay hard. So you guys see, that was a very simple process. We've just gone from 2 colors to 4 colors. We've blended the edges. We have hard and soft edges. Now you can go wild. You can apply this process to almost any part of the drawing. You can apply this to the lips, right? The lips are a little bit more red, but you can use this same method to color the lips. And once you get really comfortable with this, you know, you can start adding even more variation after the 4 colors that you've applied, right? So for example, I think I see a little bit of bounce light, a little bit of subsurface scattering on the nose, so I can select a more saturated color. I can bring that color in here like so, and we're just gonna gently blend that in, and you can see now the nose starts taking on a more fleshy, transparent appearance. If you want more of a flesh tone look, you can even use a redder hue and apply that to the cheeks. Now your character looks like he's blushing. What could he be blushing for? I don't know. Maybe he just saw you on the toilet. So you see, these very subtle hue shifts become available to you as you start adding more complexity, and that's how you color your drawings, or at least that's how I do it. It's always worked for me, all right? Might not work for you. You can even start to find some of the ambient light. Like for example, on his forehead, there's a lot of blue light because the sky is casting a blue light down on you. So we're gonna take a bluish color here, all right? And we're gonna just glaze that over the forehead very lightly. And you can get that blue on any surface that's facing upwards towards the sky because of that ambient lighting. See, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 colors here now. And they're all blending into each other. There's soft transitions. The variation of color really starts to pick up. You know, you can get some bounce light here just under the chin like that with a nice bright orange color. Again, using a blending brush, blend that out nice and smooth. Jesus, that's nice. Oh, if only I look like that. And just to wrap this up, I'm going to show you guys that you can do this with any subject, any lighting scenario. Doesn't have to be harsh sunlight, okay? Here is my chicken. Just remember what we talked about, okay? We're going to start with one main color, okay? And then we're going to go on to the secondary color, which is the color of the shadow. So it's going to be a little bit more muted, maybe a little bit warmer. Alpha lock that layer, then we're going to come down and apply that shadow color. Now, even though it is a very soft shadow, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to identify the transition between light and shadow. If you squint your eyes and take a step back, you can kind of determine that the main transition occurs here. So that's the break between the shadow side and the light side. So there's the light, there's the shadow, and just for good measure, we're gonna add in his little wings here as well. We're gonna take that light color and we're gonna start adding an even lighter color. In this case, I'm gonna start using an airbrush and just get that nice soft color in there. In the reference, I see the shadow mostly under the wing and the eye, and maybe a little bit down here towards the bottom of the chicken. A little dark shadow under the wing, a little bit of darker shadow under the chicken, just like that. That's a bit too dark. Now I'm going to take our blending brush, gently work these colors in nice and soft like so, okay? You don't even have to blend them if you prefer a more rough looking style. Now coming back to this edge between the light and the shadow, we're just going to soften that. Now the wing, smooth. Now the other wing, smooth. And would you look at that, right? We started with 2 colors, added 2 more colors, started blending the edges, and look how 3-dimensional that chicken looks. I can practically eat it. You're not safe here. See, after this stage, you can start adding even more. You can start adding some bounce light, right? You want to add some bounce light at the bottom for the table. You can add some ambient lighting in the back. You can do the exact same process with the eyeballs. Let's get a bluish color for the light section and a darker, warmer bluish color for the shadow section, okay? And then we're going to alpha lock this layer, color in your shadows. Now I'm going to add an even lighter highlight just on this side. I'm going to blend all of this out nice and smooth. Add in his little iris. You can add in a highlight just on top of that. And would you look at that? What a beautiful eyeball. Now we can move this eyeball here. We can duplicate this eyeball. Oh my goodness. So now let's take some of that yellow color. Let's add some beautiful bounce light to the bottom side of these eyeballs. Just like that. Look at that. Get a nice dark shadow, ambient occlusion under the eyeballs. Just like that. Blend this out, soften it up, and look at these stunning results. Simple process. That took about what? 5 minutes. It's all about going from big to small. Simplify that process for yourself. Treat your brain as though it is the size of a bean and has 0 wrinkle. Of course, practice is the only way you're going to get better, so try this out for yourself, okay? Go find yourself a chicken, and hopefully after watching this video, you guys are no longer scared of adding color to your line art. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope this has been helpful to you. If you want to get even more in-depth, longer tutorials, check out my Patreon. I upload every single month. In fact, just after this, I'm going to be working on our tutorial for May, which is going to be on all the essential tools and tips that I use for my digital art process. Again, a very beginner friendly video, hopefully to get you guys up off your feet so that if you're joining the Patreon, if you're a new member, you're starting off with a very solid foundation for your digital art. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I will be doing more tutorials in the future for you guys. And I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Did I forget anything? I don't think I forgot anything. Was that it? Was that it? Hey buddy, how you doing, buddy? Look at him. He's learning how to fly. What amazing athleticism. What grace. Such beauty.